Chapter 13, Broken Dreams. You and Ryder sit in the dining room in the main house, trying not to wince at the shouting upstairs. It's bad enough that we... Do you have any idea how this makes us look? We didn't spend 30 years building this place only to have you... Ouch. Oh, she's doing okay up there. Ryder yanks the cowboy hat from his head and wrings it between his hands. Of course she's not okay. We abandoned her to take the blame for something we all did. Technically speaking, we didn't abandon her. We're not complete monsters. We're standing by in case something goes really bad. A loud shout rattles the pictures lining the walls. When do we count something as really wrong? Please, you guys, I just need a few more weeks. You don't have a few weeks. You'll have one day. One day? By the time this time tomorrow, we expect you to have everything back the way it was, or else. We're not mad, Mandy, just disappointed. The door slams open, and Mandy's dad storms downstairs. Patrick barely looks at you as he leaves the house, but Julio pauses in the hallway to offer a sympathetic smile. I'm sorry you two got up in all this. I'm sure it'll all blow over soon. Mandy limps down the office a few seconds later, off her looking like a doll broken in 1,000 different places. Mandy, you want me to go avenge your honor? You swell up your chest and feign the thrust of a sword. Do you want me to go after him, my lady? All you have to do is say the word. You're sweet, Belle, but no. They're right. Everything I touch turns into a hot mess. And Ryder share an alarmed look. Mandy has always been a woman of extreme moods, but this is different. Hey, chin up, boss. Since when do you let a couple of boomers get you down? Yeah, they wouldn't know a good idea if it showed up in their ginger cream. Instead of laughing, she just shakes her head and turns back towards the stairs. Thanks for trying to cheer me up, but it's no use. I just need to be alone for a little while. As soon as she's gone back to her office, Ryder lets out a low, long whistle. Damn, I haven't seen her like this in a long time. There's only one thing we can do for her now. You mean, take a hit out on her dad? Nobody does that to my friend and gets away with it. Ryder gives a low laugh, but it stops short. Your heart's in the right place, but Mandy wouldn't appreciate your interference. He begins rolling up his sleeves in a way that would be terrifying if it wasn't so hot. Each flex of his sinewy forearm is like a dance. What this situation calls for is work, and lots of it. Work now? You heard what her dad said. We have until tomorrow to get the ranch back to normal. Yeah, but Mandy... Ryder cuts you off with a grunt. Just needs some time to put herself back together. She'll join us when she's ready. You stare at the closed office door. You can't help but picture how slumped her shoulders were, how desperately she was trying not to cry. I don't know, Ryder. I think she needs more than just time. Oh, yeah, like what? You clamp your lips tightly together and imagine how you'd like to be comforted in a situation like this, especially if that comfort was coming from Mandy. She needs a shoulder to cry on, maybe a few other body parts to take her mind off things. Don't worry, Ryder. I can handle Mandy. I just need a few minutes alone with her. Gives you a long, inscrutable look before finally giving up. I believe you. You seem to understand her in ways I never could. With a shrug, he leaves you to step gingerly through the door to the office. You find Mandy sitting at her desk and staring blankly at the wall. She doesn't turn her head at the sound of your approach. I'm not gonna cry. What? If you came in here because you're worried about me, there's no need. I'm holding it together. Her expression is so bleak, her lower lip clenched tightly between her teeth. Something in her chest heaves. Of course, Mandy, you aren't going to cry. The moment you finish speaking, her eyes well up with tears and a sob escapes her. Before you can finish crossing the room towards her, her shoulders begin to shake. Mandy. I'm sorry, I just need like 2 minutes. She dashes the back of her hands. Eyes, but it's no use. Streaks of tears cascade down her cheeks. Mandy, come here and let me hold you. You wrap your arms around her shaking shoulders and tuck her head against your chest. Holding her tightly, you don't say a word. She sniffles and burrows deeper into your embrace, the scent of her enveloping you both. You rub your hand up her back in slow, soothing strokes. With each touch of your palm, she seems to grow calmer. Her whole body yields to yours, her hair tickling lightly against your nose. I guess I'm not as in control as I like to pretend. With a deep breath, Mandy gets the last of her emotions under control. She leans back on her chair and sighs, a tremulous smile on her lips. Thanks, Belle. I'm better now. I think I just needed to get it out of my system. I'm surprised you're holding it together at all. That was brutal. Are your dads always that hard on you? No, which is why this sucks so bad. They've always demanded the best from me, but not like this. This is... She heaves a sigh. She looks so small and defeated that it's all you can do not to lift her up in your arms and carry her out of here. They said I'm ruining their legacy, that I've destroyed a lifetime of hard work in just a few short weeks. That's the complete and utter BS. It's a good thing they already left because no one talked to my Mandy like that and gets away with it. You're Mandy, huh? You feel a fiery flush move over you. Even though you don't take the words back, you can't quite meet her gaze. You know what I mean. Maybe they're right, though. What if my ideas were too extra? Impossible. Everyone on the ranch was on board with the direction you were taking things. She side-eyes you, one brow curved in a perfect arc. Everyone? Okay, fine. Almost everyone was on board with almost everything you proposed. It goes against Ryder's nature not to complain at least a little. Her soft, silent laugh seems to unlock something inside you both. Step behind her and massage her shoulders. You swivel Mandy's chair and position yourself behind it. Dropping your hands to her shoulders, you begin rubbing deep, hard circles with your thumbs. Oh, God, that feels incredible. She groans and drops her head back as you continue massaging her. The neckline of her top shifts to reveal the gentle slope of her shoulder. You gently push the straps of her bra down so you can continue running your hands over her smooth, unbroken skin. The only reason it feels incredible is because you're incredible. You're only saying that because you have to. No, I'm saying it because it's true. You'll fix this, Mandy. I know you will. How can you know that? Easy. You always come up with something brilliant, and it always ends up working in your favor. Face it, Mandy. You're not the type of woman who falls down and refuses to get up again. A sleepy, satisfied smile starts to form on her lips, unable to resist. You drop your mouth to spot where her neck tapers down to her shoulder. Okay. Maybe I'm starting to see your point. You glide your tongue against the gentle beat of her pulse before kissing your way down her shoulder. Her top slips further and further down until you can see the way her breasts rise up from her bra. You need me to keep massaging the stress away? Actually, I have something in a little more full body in mind. There's no mistaking the purr of invitation in her voice, or how much you want to accept it. You pull back and snap your fingers at her. In that case, you're going to need to lose some of those layers. So demanding. Even as she speaks, she begins stripping her clothes away. She slides her top down before shimming out of the rest of her clothes, bending and stretching to make the most of her curves. Her bra cups her breasts like a lover's hand. Her panties barely scrap against her soft, pulsing center. Better now? Almost. With a sweep of your arm, you send everything flying off the desk. Papers, pens go crashing to the floor, a cup of paper clips skittering in every direction. Belle! Wonder who will clean that up. Now I'm ready. You grab her around the waist and hoist her up onto the table. Her gasp of surprise turns to delight as you run your hands down her bare sides. I want you to lean back and let me see you. You press a hand flat against her chest and nudge her down onto the desk. She settles flat on her back, her body a masterpiece of curves and dips. I like where this is headed. It's every woman's body. I'm just saying. You all are truly beautiful. I'm serious. Good. I intend to make every second count. You start with her legs, slowly rubbing your way up her thighs. Her hips buck and glide upward as you move. Her thighs already starting to dampen with every touch. She lets her knees fall open, but you tisk lightly and make your way up to her stomach instead. Don't get greedy, Mandy. I'm enjoying the view too much to rush this. She practically purrs as she rolls and stretches, her panties straining against her skin. You mean this view? You take one of her tight, uh-oh. You know how it is, we had to skip it. You help her down from the desk, taking a moment to press a kiss to her temple and make sure she's steady on her feet before you let go. Scooping up her clothes from the floor, you help her back into them, trying to ignore the pounding demands of your own body. How are you feeling now? A little more optimistic? She releases a shaky laugh as she slips into her clothes. She looks flushed, pleased, and very satisfied. I'm still not happy about all this, but at least now I can face the day. She leans forward and claims your mouth in a soft, wordless kiss. Her tongue feels as hot and plump as her body did, and you can't help but groan as she slides it gently into your mouth. Thank you, Belle. I needed this a lot more than I realized. You join Ryder out by the goat pen, where he's managed to clear the animals away. A stack of tools sits next to him as he surveys the job ahead of him. It feels like just yesterday you were putting this thing up. Don't get sentimental on me, Belle. It's got just a goat pen. He reaches for the biggest drill he can find and approaches the fence post. With a loud ratcheting sound, he begins roughly tearing the wood planks down. Ryder, stop showing off, cowboy. Yeah, we get it. You look good with a long, hard drill bit in your hand. Don't make me laugh, Belle. I'm trying to be annoyed. Annoying is more like it. You hit your leg over the side of the pin and swing yourself up onto it. Ryder is forced to stop or risk sending you toppling over. What do you want from me, Belle? Isn't this day hard enough already? I want to help, but only if you let me hold the sharp, dangerous objects from here on out. You hold out your hand until he realizes what you're asking. He sighs, handing you the drill. Heavier than I thought. You can be my assistant, but only if you promise not to talk the whole time. You make the motion of zipping over your mouth. You'll barely even know I'm here. The two of you work side by side to tear down the goat pen, barely exchanging more than a few grunts. You're both sweating and a little depressed by the time you finish and stand looking out over the empty field. Oh, wow. We pulled that down in record time. See? Told you we could pull this thing off together. Don't celebrate yet, Belle. There's still a lot of work left to do. You're more than ready for a break, but Ryder scoops up his tools and stalks towards the barn. You struggle to keep pace with him. Wait, what are we tearing down now? You heard Patrick and Julio were taking down all of it, everything we've done. You pause on the threshold and you let your eyes to adjust to the dim lights inside the barn. By the time you can see, Ryder's already in the back corner tearing down a metal chute. Ryder, that's your compost chute. You freaking love that thing. You mean loved past tense, no need to keep compost everything if we don't and won't have an eco garden anymore. Wait, is that why you're taking this so hard? Because of your garden? The metal clangs and thumps as he tears it from the wall. The gaping hole left behind looks and feels ominous. The garden, goat pen, petting zoo, Mandy let all of it go without a fight. It sounds like you need someone to cheer you up. You got a few different options on how I could do that. Oh, I'd take all of them, but I've got a ton to do and I'm not sure it'd help. I'd be happy to try, but you're gonna need to put that sharp object down first. I'd never do anything to hurt you. He glances down at the twisted metal chute in his hand and flashes you a wry grimace. But yeah, I can see how that might be off-putting. He sets the tools down and surveys his handiwork. My whole adult life, I've watched Mandy throw ideas around like they're confetti. Sure, some of them are terrible ideas, yeah, implementing them is a pain in my ass, but that's the whole point. What is? I did it anyway, because I believed in this ranch, I believed in her. And you don't anymore? How can I? She's been given everything I haven't. Position, wealth, chance to run a ranch of her own. All of a sudden, the air seems to leave his lungs. He looks more defeated and broken than you've ever seen him, like an ancient statue right before it crumbles to the ground. All I wanted is a chance to prove myself, to build something here, so that maybe, just maybe, I could have a ranch of my own someday. Ryder. It's no use, Belle. My dreams are just that, dreams. Some stupid idea invented by an abandoned, lonely kid who forgot how the real world works. Damn, Ryder. You're pulling my heartstrings right now, because that's how I feel half the time. Your whole body yearns to take Ryder in your arms and reassure him. Even in his defeat, he's a sight to behold, all tense muscle and rigid pride. Ryder needs to realize that the future is so much bigger than he knows. If only he's willing to reach for what's right in front of him. There's only one thing that can pull you out of a slump like this. Ryder's eyes grow wide at the unmistakable, seductive lull of your voice. You think it's that easy? I know it is. Before you can react, you put one finger in either side of your mouth and release an ear-splitting whistle. The sound of light pattering footsteps approaches, followed by happy panting of Sergeant as he plants himself at your feet. Ta-da! I told you I knew what you needed. Laughing, Ryder reaches down to stroke his cattle dog. Already you can see some of the stress slogging off his shoulders. Okay, that's fair. Sarge always improves my mood. That's because he's obedient to your every desire, and I know how much you like that particular trait. You can see him struggle with himself, half of him tempted to give in, the other half determined to continue tearing the barn apart with his bare hands. I can see what you're trying to do, but Sarge can't be in here when I'm doing demolition. Then it's a good thing Sarge and I have other plans for you, huh? You reach out and take Ryder by the hand. You try dragging him towards the door, but he digs his heels in and refuses to budge. I can't. Not until this is done. Then I have no choice but to make this worth your while. And if I promise you won't be disappointed, and that work will be the last thing on your mind. Those are some bold promises, Belle. You pull his hand towards you. It's feels cupping your rib cage, just short of grazing your breast. Yeah, well, I'm a bold woman. Believe me, that quality hasn't escaped my notice. He gives up the struggle with a sigh and a smile he can't fully hide. Okay, let's go see these grand plans of yours. You, Ryder, and Sergeant make your way to the top of the hill where you first fell in love with the ranch. The wind tousles your hair and fills your lungs, bringing you a sense of peace and purpose. Okay, you got me here, now what? Now, we talk about your dreams. Do we have to? You were the one who started talking about dreams in the first place. You settle yourself comfortably in the shade of a tree. Ryder stands looming over you, but you don't let his posture intimidate you. I've watched you, Ryder. I've seen how much you do to support everyone else's aspirations. It's okay to have some of your own. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the way you support everything Mandy dreams of for this place. You've spent the past few weeks doing everything in your power to help Mandy's vision for this ranch come true. Of course I did. That's my job, remember? There are half a dozen other ranch hands on the payroll, but I don't see Mandy turning to them when she needs something. It's you she trusts, Ryder. It's you she relies on. Pat the grass next to you. Grumbling a little less this time, he settles next to you, his long legs stretched out in front of him. I still don't see what this has to do with anything. Flustered, he's careful to avoid your gaze. With a short, sharp whistle, he calls to his dog. Come on, Sarge, you can sit with us. The dog settles next to Ryder, his head on his paws as he sidles up against Ryder's leg. Poor Ryder, he's not the sort of man who's comfortable talking about his feelings. Most people aren't, let's be honest. Good thing there's more than one way to communicate. You yawn and stretch, letting your head fall back on his shoulders. You both enjoy the buzzing sounds of insects and the light scent of hay in the air. If you don't want to tell me about your dreams, then maybe you should show me.
Show you?
Yeah. If you had a ranch to run with all this land to call your own, what would you do on it?
Well, I'm a cattleman primarily, so it'd have to be cows. Not necessarily dairy ones, but if I'm properly aerated the fields, I could,
interrupt him by clearing your throat and tucking your body closer, your legs rubbing up against his. Let me say that again. If all this was yours, what would you do on the land?
The moment he sucks in a sharp breath, you know he understands.
It takes him only a second to gather his thoughts.
Well, for starters, I'd find a way to lure a gorgeous woman up to see the view, just like this.
Okay. I can picture that. What else?
He slips away from you, causing you to fall back against the grass with a soft whoomp. All the air leaves your lungs, and not because of the fall. I tell her to relax, close her eyes, since this is the last moment of rest she'll get for a very long time.
I like the sound of that.
You let your eyelids fall shut, enjoying the sensation of the grass prickling underneath you and Ryder's strong, hard body looming overhead. Don't you think you should ask why you won't be getting any rest?
I think I can figure that out.
He shoots your hips upwards in a gesture of invitation, but all Ryder does in place is a hand flat on your stomach to hold you in place. His low chuckle sends a shiver up and down your body before settling between your legs. Sorry, Belle, but you'd be dead wrong. That's not what I have in mind. Your eyes shoot open to find his handsome, mocking face above yours. I don't think you realize how physically demanding life on a ranch owned by me would be. So much heat in his gaze that you bite back a moan when you speak. Your voice is raspy and strained.
Physically demanding, huh?
Hell yes. Hot, sweaty days, even hotter, sweatier nights. When I'm in charge, I demand the best. He slides his body on top of yours, his arms braced around your head, his hips digging hard in yours. Or you can feel how hard he is for you, and how demanding he could be, if only he put his mind to it. One of his knees slips between your legs, nudging your thighs open wider and wider. Pinned like this, you have nowhere to move but against him.
Oh God, you deserve the best, Ryder. Always.
I know I do. All of a sudden, the air is broken by the sound of a high whistle, followed by two shorter ones. Sergeant jumps to attention, his ears on alert before obediently trotting off down the hill.
Wait, did you just use a leave? I'm about to have, command on the dog?
His answer is a sharp laugh and sudden, delicious pressure of his mouth on yours. His lips feel soft, plump, which is exact opposite of the way he pries your mouth open and lays claim to it. His hips drive into yours, leaving no question as to his intentions. His weight feels deliciously heavy on top of yours, pushing you into the earth as his tongue thrusts into your mouth. Even an animal like me deserves a little privacy now and again. As he buries his hands in your hair, you slide your hands between your bodies. Every swell of his muscle feels taut, strained to the limit, but they flex even harder when you tug at his belt and greedily unzip him. Yep. It was a quickie. Panting, you The way I say that, panting, you shimmy back onto the grassy bed, enjoying the messy way he falls next to you, his chest rising and falling as he comes back into himself again. Thank you, Belle, not for the... but for... Instead of finishing, he reaches for your hand and lets his fingers intertwine with yours. Squeezing gently, that small gesture speaks volumes.
I know, Ryder. It's okay. You've already said everything I need to hear.
A loud clanging from in front of the barn pulls you both and Ryder back to a sense of your surroundings. Was that...
Oh no, please tell me.
You both rush to the front of the barn where Mandy's taking a hammer to the goat milking stand that Ryder built just last week.
Take that. She uses the claw to rip out a few nails before sending sharp projectiles flying through the air. On instinct, you duck to avoid being impaled. That'll show you who's in charge.
Whoa, Mandy, you almost shot Belle through the eye.
She winces apologetically, but that doesn't stop her from crashing the hammer down on the boards again. Splintering wood crashes everywhere. There's no point in stopping now. Why would we need a goat milking stand if we're not allowed to have any goats? Mandy, you need to take a deep breath. You approach her like a hostage negotiator, your hands up and your steps slow. Maybe we should just chill with the angry demolition for a few minutes, just for fun?
Mandy releases a wild laugh.
You think any of this is fun?
You look to Ryder for help, but he's only watching Mandy with his arms crossed and a hard, tense expression on his face.
Seriously, Belle, I need this. Of all my ideas and everything I had planned.
You look over the wreckage with a heartbroken sigh.
I don't care what my dad say. Diversifying the herd was a good idea. Probably the best one I've ever had. I'm sure they'll come around to your way of thinking in a year or two. A year or two? Do you have any idea how fast the beef industry is changing? How far behind we'll get if we keep waiting? Oh, yeah, okay. Some of my ideas are out there, okay? And not everyone understands how experimental ranching works.
He begins pacing back and forth in front of the broken heaps of wood.
But this would have worked. I know it. Ryder knows it. And if they just let me...
Can you really blame your dads for pulling the plug the way they did?
Wait, are you seriously taking their side right now?
I'm just saying, you don't always approach things like a rational person. They probably assumed this was another whim, and then you'd lose interest in a few weeks. Mandy's jaw drops, her eyes flooding with tears that she refuses to let fall.
Ryder...
Okay, I ignore the hearts. I think they're stupid.
Let's discuss this at a later time. Mandy needs your support, not criticism. That's not a bad point. Can we merge all three of these? And go, you're right, but right now she needs your support and not your criticism. Just saying, bad writing. Fourth option. Mandy needs your support, not criticism. I think we all agree that Mandy deserves to be treated a little tenderly today. Yeah, I'm tender. His lights are chokehold higher up on the hammer, a martial light in her eye. And what better way to prove it than a blunt object? Your attempt at intervention falls short. The two of them turn their fiery pin-up emotions on each other. You worked just as hard on all this as I did. Don't you care that it's being destroyed? Of course I care, but I told you that you have to tame some of your more outlandish ideas. Outlandish? I put together a petting zoo, not a one-way trip to the moon. You literally made me and Belle create a cheese cooler out of thin air. Yeah, and in case you forgot it worked, the reporters ate it up. They're toe-to-toe by now. Their faces twisted as they sling insults back and forth. Listen, can you two just kiss and make up already? You two really need to let out the tension. If I don't say something soon, they're gonna be at each other's throats. You guys are forgetting who the real enemy is. We're united against a common enemy. Remember Mandy's dads? They're not the enemy. They just don't want to see this place become a carnival. Oh, Ryder, in case you don't remember, you approved the petting zoo. That's back and forth between them. Between Mandy's hot, puffing anger and Ryder's cold and passive fury, it's hard to see a way forward. But we have to find it. If not for the friendship between those two, then for the future of the ranch. All of a sudden, an idea takes hold of you. Everyone is so wound up right now. What you really need is a way to vent your emotions. Thought we did that earlier with, with each one of them. And since we can't start building a new future until we get this old one demolished, I know just what to do. And her solution is, Ryder, what we need is less talking and more hammers. Okay. I don't know why I even bother. Ryder always takes my dad's side. I take the right side. Is it my fault that your dads are usually already there? You let their bickering continue unabated. Instead of trying to talk sense to them, you grab a long fluorescent light from a pile of crates and other debris, and then you smash it to the ground. What was that?
Belle, are you okay?
They both turn to stare at you, dumbstruck. With their hands on your hips, you nod down at the wreckage and then back to them, triumphant. Sorry guys, are you arguing with each other? Isn't the pressure valve you need?
As opposed to smashing things with their bare hands.
Actually, there are worse ideas in the world. I don't see you coming up with any bright ideas.
He narrows his eyes at you, but you can see him trying to suppress a laugh. Was that supposed to be a light bulb pun?
Maybe. It was actually pretty good, and it actually went over my head for a second. Taking your cue, Mandy reaches for a wooden sign leaning up against the side of the barn. A brightly painted arrow and words "Padding Zoo this way" are emblazoned across the boards. Hi-ya! She swings the sign against the barn like a baseball bat, splinters but stays intact, so she swings again and again. Bits of broken wood fly everywhere. By the time she's done smashing it, she's breathing heavily and grinning ear to ear. Oh, hell yeah, give me another one. You both look at Ryder expectantly. He returns your stare for a long pause before giving in with a rueful shake of his head.
If this is how we're playing this, I better get the safety goggles.
You and Mandy high-five, even though he didn't get them earlier in the barn, as Ryder ducks into the barn and returns with safety gear. You all look ridiculous in goggles, but Mandy pulls out her phone and starts blasting her music. This is my bad breakup playlist. Let's hit it! You don't need any more invitation. Reaching for the biggest crate you can find, you lift it above your head and Hulk-style smash it onto the ground. Take that. Ryder grabs a sledgehammer and starts slamming into the decorative garbage cans designed to look like old-timey barrels. Each powerful swing of his arm breaks them down with one hard blow.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal.
You ain't seen nothing yet. Giggling, Mandy reaches for a banner and dangles it between her fingertips. Pulling a lighter from her pocket, she holds a flame to the tip and throws the fabric as it poofs up in a blast of smoke.
I always hated that banner anyway.
The sun blazes overhead, but that doesn't stop any of you from demolishing all of your hard work over the past few weeks. Sweat soaks Ryder's back, sticking the shirt to his powerful frame, and drips down between Mandy's breast until her top is practically transparent. You find your gaze lingering on each of them until... You make me choose, you mother... I hate you for this shit. Why can't you just have option 3? Stare at both and, do whatever. How strong and capable Ryder is. You twitch your head and watches Ryder smoothly pulls his shirt over his head and uses it to wipe his face. I bet those jeans are feeling awfully stifling in this heat, too. You should take them off, just in case. Do you have any idea how dangerous that would be? You just took your shirt off. He turns towards you, his bare chest rippling in the sunlight, droplets of sweat and light seem to dance across his hard muscles. Put it back in your pants, Belle. Workplace safety is the most important thing. Great. Now I'm hot both inside and out. You tear your gaze away and pick up Ryder's sledgehammer. It's heavy, but you use both hands to bring it down on your growing pile of rubble. Your muscles are straining to the limit, but you heft the hammer and do it again. Damn, Belle, I didn't know you had it in you. Yeah, I wonder what it is that's got her so worked up. I sure hope it's not one of us. To your surprise, you have no desire to float back with Mandy. Instead, you picture something slamming. Yourself slamming the hammer into Cal's precious vintage record collection. Huh. I had no idea I had so much lingering resentment towards him. This whole entire book has been lingering resentment. Sorry, not sorry. You imagine the next blow landing on his high-end stereo system next to the coffee table he once yelled at you for not using a coaster on. And another thing. And another one. With each item you demolish in your imagination, you feel yourself growing stronger and freer. Damn, remind me to have you help tear down the old shed next week. Are we sure she's okay? I'm just trying to impress you. How am I doing so far? Ready to swoon yet? I started swooning the second you put that hammer in your hands.
I gotta say, your technique is on point. I'm really surprised Ryder didn't say that about the hammer.
By this time, the rest of the ranch hands have heard the commotion and arrange themselves in a circle around you. Even Sergeant seems to want in on the fun as he barks and dances around the destruction.
I suppose you three need a hand there? It's no fair to take all the fun jobs.
Mandy nods and steps back to give some of the other ranch hands the playing field. Sure thing, guys, do your worst. Oh my god, another ranch hand besides us. Or your best, we don't care which.
Just make sure you put goggles on first.
As soon as you've completely destroyed the supplies in front of the barn, you all move towards the field where the last pieces of the water station stand. Working as a group, you tear it down until nothing remains. It's just a muddy pit where the heaps of broken boards and splintered plastic everywhere you look.
Damn, that was fun.
I think we all needed that.
It was a good call, boss.
You survey the wreckage with a feeling of satisfaction. Not only did you get a lot of work done, but Mandy and Ryder are standing side by side without an argument in sight. Everyone here is on cleanup duty. A collective chorus of groans rises up through the air. You hold your hands up to quiet them. Don't worry, we broke it down as a team, which means we'll clean it up as a team. You nod at Mandy and Ryder. Ryder flashes you a thumbs up while Mandy blows you a kiss. Consider it a promise. Whatever we build or tear down together, we can always do it again. With everyone working together, cleanup takes less time than you expect. In a few short hours, the ranch is back to how it started. Now that the tension has been broken, you're all feeling a little deflated. Smiling brightly, you take Mandy and Ryder both by the arm. What do you say we go inside and demolish the one thing we have left? The goat cheese. I could use a snack after all that manual labor.
And as long as we wash it down with a beer or two, I'm in.
They both shoot you a grateful look. Mandy's eyelashes flutter up at you, while something like a grin quirks Ryder's mouth. It's a good thing we have you to keep us from strangling each other, Belle. And to give us something nice to look at while we do it. I'm just glad you guys have me to hold everything together. I'm pretty much the glue that keeps this place running. What does it sound like you're about to hit me up for a raise?
If Belle gets one, you'd better sign me up too. Fair's fair.
After cleaning up the mess, the three of you head inside to the house to enjoy a night of rest, relaxation, and regrouping for tomorrow. The next morning, you wake up to find that one of the ranch hands has been by with a mail delivery. A letter from me. Behind the letter, a copy of Ranch Life magazine is included in the bundle. That's weird. Mandy already gave me like 12 copies of her article. You flip through the pages to find a piece of paper wedged in the middle. It flutters down to show a picture of you standing with Ryder and Mandy with a huge red circle marked around you. Your heart leaps to your throat as you notice another red circle, this one around the ranch's address. No, it can't be. You scoop up the piece of paper, your hand shaking as you make out the familiar scrawl of your ex's handwriting. Playing at being a cowgirl now. In that case, you'll need a full wardrobe. I'd be happy to drop your things off in person, now that I know exactly where you are. Well, isn't that gonna be fun? At least we have some real drama for once. Anyway, without further ado, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. In the description, plenty of things to check out there, ways to support, yada, yada, yada. And with that being said, let me know what you all think. Let me be honest, right? We've got Cal, this snobby dude who just... I could blow on him and he would blow away. He's gonna come to the ranch and encounter not just Ryder, right? Just like our first line of defense, let's be honest. But also Mandy and a new improved you. Just saying. I don't really, like, this is kind of, like, meh, really, in terms of, like, ooh, drama, but, you know, it is what it is. Aside from that, I kind of wonder if they're going to have this book turn into something that I think was like your two first loves or whatever, or also that current book where oh man, Immortal Desire, where you can have a relationship with both people. I actually wouldn't be against that. Again, as so here's the thing for some of you who are actually listening and wonder my choices is, you have two love interests. They're both halfway decent, and they have their own pros and cons, right? Um, I don't know. I'm an open-minded person. I'm willing to, choose between if I'm given the need to, but otherwise I choose both in all honesty, and I try and enjoy the both of best of both worlds in terms of like books and things like that. Especially for you, the viewer, to I don't know what your preference may be. I know some of you like when I play like a male character versus a female. Some of you just tune out because you can't connect to the character that is being played and yada yada, right? So I try, knowing you, my audience is mainly female, to try and select female characters to play as, and then I know a lot of you want male love interests. But again, like I said, if there is a choice to allow both, I typically will go with the in between because I also have to realize that there are other people out there who do go both ways, and then also people out there that may also want the appeal of the other side as well, right? I think that's where a lot of things need to go and at least have options in terms of gameplay, right? I think a lot of games are doing pretty well on that so far. Not just choices, mind you, but a lot of games are doing that fairly well now, where they're giving you an option for one or the other or both. And I do like that. I just hope it keeps a constant. And yes, I understand that there is people out there who, like I said, just likes Ryder or Mandy. Again, that's why you can pick one or the other or both. So again, it just depends on how good the writing is, right? So yeah, aside from that, thanks for watching. Catch y'all later. Peace out.